Two major brush fires burning right now in Golden Gate Estates, threatening homes, forcing dozens of families to evacuate. Now, this fire off Everglades Boulevard and 30th Avenue Southeast has scorched more than 400 acres. And then this is brand new video just into our NBC2 newsroom of a fire near 18th Street Southeast and Frangipani Avenue. This one has destroyed more than 300 acres and is on the move.
People on about 10 different streets are under a mandatory evacuation because of that second fire. This is the exact area: Frangipani Avenue, south from Tobias Street, then east of Frangipani. Frangipani runs east and west and then turns south. There are also voluntary evacuations in this area: 16th Avenue Southwest between 9th Street Southwest and 23rd Street Southwest, including Inez Road, Keene Avenue, Smith Road, and Hancock Hammock Road. We have all of those listed at NBC2.com. Delia D'Ambra live on Frangipani Avenue, where we just learned fire trucks are running out of water and several people are turning on their sprinklers to try and protect their homes.
One truck just got here, and what I'm looking at is a water truck that just zoomed in at the end of 14th Street Southeast. The fire here, the 175-acre fire on Frangipani Avenue, has jumped the canal for the second time. So it is now on the left and right-hand side at the end of the street of 14th Street Southeast. And these fire crews are trying to keep this fire at bay. It is now in two different people's yards, very, very close to homes. There's a small gathering, maybe 5 or 6 family members out here that live in some of these homes, and they're absolutely terrified. I mean, some of them have been turning on their sprinklers, just trying to get the ground damp however that they can. And what they've really been doing is, as they've been trying to evacuate, they've been snatching up anything in their homes of value, packing it in their cars, terrified that when they come back, their houses may not be there.
I have a childhood friend that lives right behind us. I hope she knows what's going on. So I'm just worried about everybody's home.
What are you doing now?
Getting our chickens, packing them up, getting my kids from my in-laws' house, and getting my grandmother and my parents out of their house, and trying to get the boats and try to get the big stuff out.
And again, this fire is 0% contained. There's been a few crews coming and going from this area at the end of 14th Street Southeast because these trucks have been running out of water. They've been coming from both sides of the fire, over the canal and in some of these neighborhoods. So they're working very, very hard. But the biggest thing they said today is the wind and the fact that this fire was moving so quickly, getting into the treetops with ashes. And those treetops are hard to put out because they're so tall. So just stay with NBC2. We're going to keep you updated on this fire and let you know with mandatory evacuations if those are extended at all. For now, I'm live in Collier County. Delia D'Ambra, NBC2.
You can see the thick black smoke from at least 15 miles away. NBC2 was the first crew on scene off Everglades Boulevard. Firefighters gave us exclusive access inside the fire lines. Risa Morris continues our live team coverage with some incredible video. Risa?
So, Peter, that fire started on 30th Avenue. We've been pushed back to 28th Avenue because of how fast those flames were moving. When we got here, you can see the huge plume of smoke behind me. The fire is moving west, and it's been moving quickly. Right now, it's burning 420 acres. This is exclusive video of the fire jumping over Everglades Boulevard. Trucks from Greater Naples, North Collier, Immokalee, the City of Naples, Marco Island, the Florida Forest Service, and many departments from Lee County have been out here fighting this fire. We've also seen planes and helicopters from the Forest Service trying to contain it. I spoke with one woman who saw the entire thing.
I walked back there and it was just ablazing. It was hot, windy, and everything was on fire.
So we did hear from the fire chief that so far they know 2 vehicles and 2 outbuildings have been burned. At this fire here, they're calling it the 30th Avenue fire. They say no homes have been damaged right now. A lot of the residents are out here hoping to get back in soon and take a look at what's left of their patios. A lot of them had animals, their pastures, so they're really anxious to get back there and see how everything looks. Reporting live in Golden Gate Estates, Risa Morris, NBC2.
All right, thanks, Risa. Now, to recap our top story, there are 2 fires burning in Golden Gate Estates. The one where Risa was just reporting from, that's near 30th Avenue Southeast. The other, where Delia D'Ambra is stationed, is near Frangipani Avenue and 18th Street Southwest. There are mandatory evacuations. We have a list of those on our website. NBC2 is continuing to bring you updates on these fires throughout the newscast. Also, be sure to check out NBC2.com for more information.
Breaking news at 6 out of Lehigh Acres. A witness tells us 2 people are dead. A third was injured in a shooting. We have pictures from the scene on 4th Street Southwest between Hannah Avenue and Elva Avenue South. Our crews there see lots of deputies and several EMS trucks. We're working to find out if anyone has been arrested.
Even more breaking news right now at 6. Cape Coral police are looking for a man who tried to lure a teen into his car at a bus stop at Santa Barbara Place and Southwest 13th Terrace. NBC2's Dave Elias spoke with the teen and his mom and has new developments on the search for the man.
Yeah, there are a lot of parents and neighbors that are on edge tonight after hearing about the incident that took place right here at this bus stop in Cape Coral. Now, some teenagers were getting off the bus when a stranger approached a teenage boy and asked to give him a ride. Now, that boy pulled out his cell phone, but luckily his mother was nearby.
We're in a quiet, nice Cape Coral neighborhood.
But that doesn't matter to Robin. She picks her son up every day after school. Wednesday, she was running just a minute late when she learned that her son was approached right here by a stranger.
So when he opened the door and got in the car, he said, I tried to call you. A man in a beat-up green car stopped and asked me how far away from the bus stop I lived.
When her son pulled out his phone, the suspect took off. The only description of him, vague at best.
He said he was a black man, thought he was maybe in his 20s.
Word quickly spread, and now students like Cameron are looking over their shoulders.
I normally do anyways, like I'll occasionally look behind me if I'm standing or something like that, so I'll keep a closer eye out, I guess.
Well, I know in elementary school they pushed like stranger danger and stuff, and I still think that's very important, and I think parents should talk about it too.
After hearing the news, parents tell me they're not taking any chances.
The last thing we need is somebody like that around our kids in our neighborhood.
Robin, though, worries about parents who can't pick up their kids.
What happens with the parents who are at work, who can't pick up their kids to and from the bus stops?
Now, police were immediately notified about this incident, but by the time they showed up, the suspect was already gone. We're live in Cape Coral tonight. Dave Elias, NBC2.
Attorneys for the man tied to a missing Lee County girl are trying to get evidence thrown out.
Jorge Guerrero is not charged in connection with the disappearance of Diana Alvarez, but he faces a child pornography charge. Detectives say they found pictures of the 9-year-old on his cell phone, lurid pictures. NBC2's Jacqueline Beavis was inside the courtroom for Guerrero's hearing. She joins us now live.
Just before 5 o'clock this afternoon, the state rested. It was more than 6 hours of a court hearing today. For the family of Diana Alvarez, the victim in those alleged child pornography photos, it was a very difficult day.
She said at the moment that she seen Guerrero, she was very upset, angry, because she wants him to say where's her daughter.
Rita Hernandez, Diana's mother, left court after Jorge Guerrero's testimony very emotional, calling the day a difficult one.
A lot of things, not knowing where her daughter's at.
In court, Jorge Guerrero told the judge he believed his cell phone contents were protected by password and private. The prosecution argued against that. Guerrero remained focused in court, mainly straight-faced, never looking at the family who once opened their home.
She gave him a place to live, and this is the thing she has, from what I heard. And we've discussed that, and she says never trust anyone.
The family tells me that Jorge Guerrero was offered a plea deal in the case for almost 25 years in prison, but they say he declined. Tomorrow morning we expect to hear closings from both sides, and then it'll be up to the judge whether or not the key evidence stays in the case. Reporting live in Fort Myers, Jacqueline Beavis, NBC2.
New video tonight showing the moment a wife and mother was shot and killed by a Punta Gorda police officer. Mary Knowlton was gunned down back in August during a police demonstration. So you can see right here when they realize what happened, the officers run to help her. And then the crowd realizes what they just witnessed. The officer who fired those deadly shots fought to get back his job today. Lee Coel was let go after being charged with manslaughter. The investigation showed he couldn't tell the difference between bullets and blanks. NBC2's Tim Ronca was at today's hearing, and he joins us now live from Punta Gorda.
Lisa, the hearing was actually closed to the media, and in fact, Lee Coel himself wasn't even there, just his attorneys. Well, I was able to catch up with them as they came out, and they say Lee Coel should not be the only one taking the blame for what happened.
Truth is, the city has decided to hold Officer Coel and no one else accountable. And that's why we're challenging his termination.
Former Officer Lee Coel's attorneys say Coel is not entirely to blame for the shooting, pointing to the 2 reviews done since then that show the department didn't have the right safety policies in place.
Lee Coel was not responsible for Miss Knowlton's death. And if there were mistakes made, both of those reports lay out that there were mistakes made by a variety of people, most of whom were command staff.
But many in the community are skeptical about Coel wanting his job back.
I don't think he should get his job back in any police department in this country or anywhere. He should go into a new line of work.
The attorneys admit it would be difficult for Coel even if he did get his job back, but they want more officers involved to take the blame.
There's no way that an event like this doesn't change your life and impact your life. His life will never be the same, no matter what.
Coel did have the right to appeal under the Officer Bill of Rights. A decision from today's hearing will be made in 30 days. Coel is also awaiting trial for that manslaughter charge. Live in Punta Gorda, Tim Branca, NBC2.
Today, we learned the name of the new hotel that will go next to Harborside Event Center in downtown Fort Myers. It will be called the Luminary Hotel. The name was inspired by Thomas Edison. The 237-room hotel will be 12 stories high with a rooftop bar and several restaurants. Here are the renderings. City leaders are excited about what it means for the future.
It's got a lot to offer for the community, a lot of interaction. Even in the branding, you can tell that they've thought it out to be as specific as they can about what we are.
The project is expected to cost about $60 million and slated to break ground in June.
NBC2 staying on top of breaking news out of Golden Gate Estates, where 2 brush fires forced mandatory evacuations, threatening homes. We've just learned 1 home did burn in one of those fires. We've got brand new updates straight ahead.
I'd be happy for it if it ever gets there.
The promise of a new Cape Coral fire station to be built in 2016? What's the holdup? New at 6, NBC2 tracking your tax dollars.
Well, unfortunately, most of the green that we're tracking this afternoon on the NBC2 First Alert Live Doppler radar is not rain, but smoke. Look at this. All this green over Collier County is smoke from those dual fires out toward Golden Gate Estates. But some good news for us this weekend. Pretty big change in the forecast. I'll detail that in your First Alert forecast here on News at 6.
If you're just joining us, NBC2 has been following 2 fast-moving brush fires in Collier County, and they are out of control. People rushing out of their homes to safety. The newest fire is on Frangipane Avenue near Tobias Street.
Now, we just checked with the Forest Service. So far, this fire has torched at least 350 acres, still 0% contained. NBC2's Delia D'Ambra is there. She joins us by phone.
That's right, guys. What I'm looking at right now are the very 2 spots at the end of Southeast 14th Street where the fire from that 350-acre fire has jumped over a kind of dried-up canal with just a little bit of water in it, jumped that canal and has gone into people's yards. Now, there are 2 homes on the left and right side of this dead-end street, and there are a few people still standing here kind of looking terrified at what they've seen. It's moved very quickly, and there's 1 fire crew here with a water truck that has been really just battling this thing. Every time they douse it with water, it flares back up. So just a lot of concern about people here. This is a mandatory evacuation area right now, but again, like I said, a few people still sort of hanging out just to see what happens. So just stick with NBC2 for updates on this, and we'll continue covering this breaking news for you. Live in Collier County, Delia D'Ambra, NBC2.
Thanks, Delia. Also in Collier County, there is a fire burning off Everglades Boulevard and 30th Avenue Southeast. Look at this incredible video into our newsroom. This one has scorched more than 500 acres, and we just got word that 1 house was lost in this fire. We did also hear some trailers, swamp buggies burned. Our crew there is continuing to get more information, and we're going to continue to follow this story as well as the Frangipane fire throughout the evening.
I want to start off with a time lapse over Collier County pointing toward the direction of those fires. This is probably one of the best images we've had throughout the day. This is around 11 o'clock this morning, nice, quiet, sunny day. And then early afternoon around 1 and 2, you can start to see some of that diffuse smoke, and then those two separate smokestacks and those easterly winds carrying that smoke cloud right over the Naples area. One here, the one on the north side, starting to look a little bit better in terms of the containment right now, but we're looking at quite a bit of smoke showing up on our NBC2 First Alert Live Doppler radar. All of this right here is smoke from those two fires. These are the sources over Golden Gate Estates, and if I put this into motion, you can see how that smoke is getting carried over by those easterly winds westward over toward the Naples area. We've had just a couple of small spots of rain over Collier County. Most of that's farther south around Marco Island. You can see some rain just south of the island, some more moving out toward the Gulf of Mexico, and all of this will continue to build west deeper into the Gulf as we head through the next couple hours, and looking pretty quiet and dry over Lee and sections of Charlotte County. We're going to see pretty quiet weather here as we head through the night. Sunset coming up just before 8 o'clock. Temperatures cooling off into the mid-60s by 6 a.m. But I want to jump ahead to the weekend because this is where we're starting to see some changes with our forecast. We have the front back to the west. That's still coming in early next week, but we have something new out ahead of it that initially looked like it would pass down to the south of us. But now it appears as we head into the weekend, mainly on Saturday, look how we start to see an area of low pressure developing in the Gulf of Mexico, and it looks like this will help to send some rain our way, likely by Saturday afternoon, and this could actually be somewhat widespread with some embedded downpours in the mix as well. So that's Saturday. A little bit of a new wrinkle to the forecast, and then watch what happens as we look ahead to Sunday. This is Sunday morning. We also have that incoming cold front to the northwest of us, and this will likely produce some areas of scattered rain as we head into Sunday morning and Sunday afternoon. Doesn't mean we're going to see a washout of a weekend, but rain chances certainly looking a bit higher. And let me show you how things unfold here on our high-resolution forecast model. Allows you to see a lot more detail. Mid to late afternoon, you can see some of that rain spreading in from the Gulf of Mexico. We could even see a few embedded thunderstorms, but we're not expecting to see any severe weather, but rain chances jumping up quite a bit than what we initially thought just over the last couple of days. A developing story in the tropics, we have the first tropical storm of the season, and that is Arlene. Winds at 45 miles per hour. Impressive that it has managed to survive for this long, but the latest forecast track from the National Hurricane Center has us eventually merging with another weather system will not affect any land areas. We have the fire alert, of course, continuing tomorrow. Friday's going to be another dry day, up to 87. And then we hope that the weekend forecast will feature a little more rain, not to ruin any weekend plans, but just because it is so dry here across Southwest Florida, we really need it. That's your NBC2 First Alert forecast.
New at 6, NBC2 is tracking your tax dollars. Can you spot what is wrong with that sign? A promise to build a new fire station in Cape Coral by 2016, but they haven't even broken ground.
We sent NBC2's Jesse Pagan to find out where more than $2 million in taxpayer money went to build that station.
Well, it should never be soon enough. It should already been here.
Lawrence Lucas is just one neighbor who can't wait for this new fire station.
Right there, how you can't get more convenient and more safe feeling than a firehouse right across the street.
But construction on the site at the corner of Burnt Store Road and Northwest 11th Street hasn't happened, even though it's coming in 2016.
I would say, yeah, it is a concern because then what are they waiting on? I don't know what the city's waiting on.
We found out the city is still in the process of accepting bids. Construction companies will try to win the job of building the fire station by giving their best price estimate. The cheapest is often the winner. That decision hasn't been made yet.
I don't want to hear the noise and the sirens and the fire trucks at all hours of the night and day.
Kathy Bradley hopes it stays that way. Her home is just across the street from the site.
I don't think we need another firehouse.
She sees it as a waste of $2.6 million. Two other fire stations are less than 5 miles away. But others say the more the merrier when it comes to safety.
I don't think anybody has a problem with having one right in their neighborhood because, you know, you don't think about it till you need them. And if you need them, how do you want them close?
That was Jesse Pagan reporting. The bidding process will take at least another month to finish. Then construction and hiring of 9 new firefighters will start.
How good has Chris Sale been since joining the Red Sox? So good that the former FGCU star is drawing comparisons to Hall of Famer Pedro Martinez when he arrived in Boston. Both aces were traded to the Sox in their prime. In Sale's first 3 starts, he's allowed just 3 runs while striking out 30 batters, but only has one win to show for it. Looking for a little more run support in the rubber match of this 3-game series with the Blue Jays. Sale dominant once again. 8 shutout innings, 13 strikeouts. With his pitch count over 100 and Boston up 1-0, Craig Kimbrell comes on to close it out, but he cannot. Kendry Morales takes him deep. We go to extras. Kimbrell does get the win, though, because Mookie Betts delivers a bases-loaded double. A no decision for Sale. Sox win 4-1. Twins and Indians. Minnesota trying to avoid its 4th straight loss. Scoreless in the 4th. This is weird. Trevor Bauer slips off the mound. That's a balk. And since the bases are loaded, the runner comes home from 3rd. 1-0 Twins. In the 7th, tied at 2, Cleveland with the bases loaded. Taylor Rogers walks Michael Brantley. Tribe up, and the Twins lose again, 6-2. After a wild last night, getting a win, the Rays looking for a sweep of the Tigers. This will help. A bad bounce triple from Steesman and Souza Jr. scores a pair. Tampa Bay takes a 3-1 lead, and the Rays win 8-1.
Missed the strike zone with only 3 of those.
Win 16 games. That's all we're trying to do.
Unfortunately for Brendan O'Donnell and the Everblades, 2 games into the playoffs, Florida is still looking for the first of those 16 wins. At the top of the hour in Orlando, it is a critical Game 3 of this best-of-7 series with the Solar Bears. The Blades are a desperate hockey team, just trying to win for each other.
It's just kind of a different mindset. This is where your team needs to come together if you want to win, and that's kind of the message that's going through the room right now.
It's do or die, and winner moves on. So, you don't want to really stretch out series more than you have to, and I think both teams here are going to want to try to close it out quick. And if it goes 7 games, it's going to be a real hard-fought series, and each game is going to be a battle.
One more update on the 2 brush fires in Golden Gate Estates. They have already burned about 850 acres. They're spreading fast. People who live on about 10 different streets are under mandatory evacuations. At least 1 home was destroyed off Everglades Boulevard and 30th Avenue Southeast. That fire has scorched more than 500 acres. Some trailers and swamp buggies were also burned. However, this fire is not putting any more homes in danger.
Now, the second fire is near 18th Street Southeast and Frangipani Avenue. It is threatening several homes. It's grown to more than 350 acres. Our crews that were there saw people desperate, turning on their sprinklers and then evacuating, leaving with whatever they can, including live chickens from their yards. A mandatory evacuation notice is in effect for homes along Frangipani Avenue South from Tobias Street East to Frangipani Avenue. A voluntary evacuation order is in place for 16th Avenue Southwest between 9th Street Southwest and 23rd Street Southwest. We've got more information on NBC2.com.
Real quick, Jason, is the wind going to calm down at all?
Tonight, but back up again over 20 miles per hour tomorrow.
Okay. Updates throughout the day.